I'll remember forever the way he looked at me, because I feel like we all have this kind of emptiness within where we want to be seen, we want to be looked at, we want to be acknowledged. In that moment, I really felt so seen. I felt so attractive, so good looking, so much like a woman. And it was so nice to have someone giving me this kind of attention, just by looking at me. In this video, I'm going to share how I met my narcissistic ex and give you a little bit of information on how I started trusting him and how I was hooked, basically. By the way, my name is Lara. I'm doing this little series to share my story about my relationship with a narcissist that had completely broke me down, and that also was the wake-up call for me to shift this cycle, to break the patterns of always falling for the same type of men. I've now finally found someone who actually loves me and respects me, and I believe I can really help women who are going through this. This is why I'm sharing my story. So thank you so much for being here. Let's get into it. So when I met him, it was the beginning of a contract on a brand new cruise line that I had never been on, so I didn't know anybody on the ship. And as you've heard a little bit about in the previous video, I was struggling a little bit with social anxiety and I was really insecure. I was a little bit lost in my life. I wanted to stop doing cruise ships because I wanted to have a life on land with stability, friends, a partner, and having a bit more of a normal life. And I just didn't have any plans. I was really confused. I was really lost. I had just spent 6 months on land trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I didn't find anything, so I just went back on the ship. But I was really in that stage of my life where I was really confused and lost with myself. And so the moment we met was on the cruise ship, just when I arrived. And I was really stressed because cruise ships are a very confined environments, and I didn't know anybody on that ship. And when you arrive on ship, everybody know each other. So, the first few days, the first few weeks, it's tricky, and it's always nice to have someone to hang out with. And when I saw him, I felt completely charmed, and he was very tactile, I would say, with me from the beginning. And the way he looked at me was very flattering. I was very insecure. I was very anxious. I was very lonely deep down and stressed because I didn't know anybody. And I can see now how vulnerable I was at the time. I was craving connection. I was really craving company, friends, and of course, deep down, I was hoping that I would find the right person. He was really confident. I could feel that from the beginning. He was charming. He was very attractive. And I'll remember forever the way he looked at me, because I feel like we all have this kind of emptiness within where we want to be seen, we want to be looked at, we want to be acknowledged. In that moment, I really felt so seen. I felt so attractive, so good looking, so much like a woman. And it was so nice to have someone giving me this kind of attention, just by looking at me. He seemed very emotionally open. He was really funny. I could feel that we had a connection from the moment I met him. It was so special, and I was so grateful that I met him and that he was on the ship. I was like, I really hope he doesn't have a girlfriend. I really hope he's gonna be available to spend time with me, and maybe, who knows, I was really in that dreamland. I can see it now. It was very quickly he started future faking, which is basically talking about the future. He said we could travel together, maybe put on a show together, because we were both musicians. He was like really talking about these things, and he could see that I was getting really excited. I was just ready to fall in love, I was just ready to go for it. And this whole idea of not only having him on the ship, but planning a future together and knowing what we would do together after the contract, and maybe having options and plans and all of that was so exciting to me, where I was feeling so lost and stuff. It really brought me some stability and some hope, and I was just really getting excited to know him and to see ultimately if he is the one. That really was what I was looking for. I was completely captivated by him. He definitely love bombed me from the start, and I just thought it was falling in love. I just thought it was so incredible, and that we had this same interest for each other from the beginning, and I just thought it was love. But now I see that it was love bombing. He scanned me very quickly, and he understood where my weaknesses were, and he saw that I was insecure. He saw I had social anxiety, and very quickly I opened up to him. I said about what happened in my childhood, and he really mirrored all my insecurities. I was saying that I was feeling alone, that I don't know anybody on the ship. I was feeling misunderstood and all of that in my childhood, that I had been through bullying and all of that. And he was literally mirroring everything I had been through and everything I was feeling by telling me that he was feeling misunderstood too, especially on the ship. He was constantly judged. He very quickly put himself in the victim mode where he was so lonely, and he was, so there was this contrast where I get this man who's super confident and so sure of himself and flirting with me and being really funny and everything that you want in a man, right? And very attractive, but also this very sensitive, emotionally open man who was like, I've been through this and I've been through this, and I'm also feeling lonely and I'm feeling misunderstood by people, and I understand you where you're feeling that. So that was really mirroring at the time. I felt so seen, I felt so understood at the time. I felt so close to him. I was wondering maybe he's the right person. From the beginning, I thought maybe he's the right person. I was hoping. And the fact that someone so confident, so sure of himself, so funny was interested in me, I felt so special, I felt so incredible, I felt so seen, And I was convinced that everyone loved him on the ship as well, because this is what it looked like. He was always close to other people, saying hello to everyone. And I just thought he was so loved by everyone, which amplified the feeling that I had where, I really want to be with this guy. He constantly gave me attention. He was always texting me. He was giving me so much validation. He was complimenting me all the time physically, and he was making me laugh. Like literally on all levels, I could feel like he was here for me. And musically, he was such a great musician as well. And he just really knew how to charm me and how to make me feel great, just as if I had known him forever. The moment I really got hooked is when we got close physically, but we didn't have sex. And for me, that was new, to be with a man. I had been through 5 toxic relationships before that, and I had always kind of been pushed to do things sexually, and this guy did not push me at all. I felt so safe. I felt like I could take time, and I felt so respected, and that's so important as women to feel that. So on all levels, I really felt like I was so taken care of, and that he was 10 times better than any partner I had been with. And that feeling of, I'm really gonna do everything to make it work with that guy, started getting bigger and bigger. The affection, the comfort, being taken care of, feeling like I have someone to hold on to, really made me feel so hooked to him. When deep down I was struggling so much with my social anxiety and my insecurities and my loneliness on the ship. There definitely were red flags from the beginning. I was paying for most things since the beginning. And I had, again, that's a pattern that I had always done in my other relationships. So I was used to doing that, even though I knew it wasn't right. But at the beginning, I was just so overwhelmed by how amazing he was that I just really wanted to give, I was the overgiver all the time. So that was one of the red flags. Another red flag was that he was close physically to other women. I somehow felt like, why is he choosing to be with me when he could be with any other girls on the ship? I had the feeling deep down that he likes flirting and that he's probably been with other women on the ship before I arrived. So I was really, really careful not to go too quickly with him, and I didn't want to be used or manipulated, or I didn't want to be the stupid one. And so I was really careful at the same time, but deep down I was just already like fall in love with him. Also on the ship, 1 week seems like a month. So after a week, I was so hooked to him. And again, when you feel so bad, so lonely within, like it really amplifies the feeling of having found someone and belonging when you actually have someone in front of you who cares about you so deeply and gives you something that is so sweet and so kind in that moment. At some point, he said to me that he was seeing another girl that was off the ship, but that this girl would come on the ship at some point. And he really was honest with me, even though it had been a little while since we had started being together or spending time together. And I just thought, oh, he's so honest. That's so amazing. He didn't have to tell me. And this even where were things that he said to me, like, oh, see how honest I am with you because I really care about you and I've never been with someone like you before, and I would really like something serious with me. So I'm with this other girl, but because I really like you, I was thinking of maybe breaking up with the other girl and being with you. That's not exactly how he said it. He was very subtle, you know, he was very good at talking as well. But I was just so impressed that he trusts me and that he tells that to me. And I was like, oh, he wants something serious with me. Oh my goodness, this is so amazing. I can see now how my self-worth was so low. I had no sense of self-respect in that moment. So I said, yeah, let's go for it and do what you have to do with that other girl. But I definitely want to be with you. I wanted to make sure that he knew. The thing is, he didn't break up with that other girl and he kept talking to her every single day. So of course he didn't, because he needed a B plan. This thing where he's being honest really kept going for the whole relationship. That was a very smart move of him to be honest with me and tell me everything I needed to hear in that moment. And to frame it as, I'm being honest with you, you see, I don't have to tell you these things, I'm just doing it because I really care about you. And then for the whole relationship, he used that honesty as a way to defend himself. It was like his shield. Like, see, I've been honest with you, I've been the good person, and now you're doing this to me. His story really was, I never wanted anything serious with anybody. I've always had so many girls who wanted to be with me. I've had so many girlfriends who wanted me. Like, he really was in his head the king of the world, pretty much. But I never wanted to have something like this with someone, something serious. But I'm choosing you because I really want something with you, because you're amazing and because you're so special. That was the story for the whole relationship. It made me feel so special. It made me feel like I could somehow change him. And he said he wanted to change. He knew he had always been an asshole with women, and he really wanted to build a family and to get married. And he even talked about these things very early on, which made me feel like, oh God, this is so amazing. I have found someone who wants the same things of me. I felt so connected, and I really felt so powerful and so useful on earth in that moment, because I felt like maybe I could help him towards his goals of changing and being a good man. And at the same time, I felt so special, and it was also distracting me from all the pain I had within me. Narcissists really like doing this, making you feel super special, like you're so irreplaceable from the beginning of the relationship. A lot of us, especially empathic women, we have wounds and we tend to feel not good enough. And so when we have someone who puts us in that position of being super useful and being so amazing, so attractive, so everything, we're like, okay, I cannot afford to lose that person in my life, because otherwise I'll have to get back to my thoughts and to my sensitivity and to my self-judgment and to my insecurities. So that's it for this video. In the next video, I'm going to talk about the devaluation, how it started. I'm going to go a little bit deeper into that. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave a comment below if you're still here. I'm very grateful to have this opportunity to share my story and to have you watching and listening to everything. I feel very healed from everything I've been through, and this is why I know that sharing my story is not going to put me back in a very vulnerable place. Again, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.